Everyone thinks AI is a tool, like Excel, like Photoshop, something you use to do your job better. It's not. This is the first technology in history that replaces labor and decision-making at the same time. That's not a productivity improvement. That's a restructuring of how capitalism works, and almost everyone is reading it wrong. For 200 years, the economy followed one rule. Humans think, machines do. Steam engines move goods, assembly lines build products, computers process data, but in every case, a human made the decision. A human set the direction. A human coordinated the work. This division wasn't a choice, it was a constraint. Machines couldn't think, so every business that wanted to grow had to solve the same problem. How do you scale intelligence? The answer was always the same. You hire. More customers meant more employees. More complexity meant more managers. More decisions meant more meetings. The cost of intelligence, analyzing, coordinating, deciding, was denominated in salaries, benefits, and office space. And that construct shaped everything. How big companies could get, how industries were structured, what a career looked like. The entire org chart exists because thinking was expensive and didn't scale. If you wanted more intelligence in your business, you hired it. There was no other way. Then something broke. In 2023, the cost of basic intelligence collapsed. Not gradually, not incrementally, it fell off a cliff. Research that took a junior analyst 40 hours now takes 4 minutes. Customer emails that required a team now route through a model. First draft analysis that cost thousands now costs cents. Code that took a developer a week now takes an afternoon. The price of a task that used to require a $70,000 salary is now approaching zero. And unlike every previous automation wave, this one didn't start on the factory floor. It started in the spreadsheet, in the inbox, in the slide deck, in the Figma file, in the legal brief. AI climbed straight into the office, into the jobs that required degrees, into the work that was supposed to be safe. The white-collar premium, the idea that knowledge work was protected, is evaporating in real time. Here's the mechanism most people miss. Companies don't hire because they want employees. They hire because humans were the only way to process information at scale. Think about what a manager actually does. Not the title, the work. They take information from one level, synthesize it, pass it up or down. They coordinate between teams and they translate strategy into tasks. They sit in meetings so other people don't have to. That's not management, that's information routing with a salary. AI routes information for free. The average Fortune 500 company has 8 layers of management. Each layer exists to process information between the layers above and below it. When AI can do that synthesis, and it increasingly can, the layer becomes a bottleneck, not an enabler. Klarna cut 700 customer service agents last year, but the headline misses the point. They didn't cut agents because AI had better conversations. They cut agents because AI eliminated the coordination between conversations. One system handling routing, escalation, knowledge-based queries, and performance tracking. Work that used to require team leads, supervisors, trainers, and QA specialists. The humans who remain do different work. The work that still requires judgment when the situation is ambiguous. The work where being wrong has consequences that matter. Everything else flows through systems now. When you replace humans with software, costs don't fall gradually, they collapse. A call center that costs $10 million a year becomes $500,000. A team of analysts becomes one engineer and a model. A content department becomes an API. A finance back office becomes a workflow. The middle of the org chart doesn't shrink, it disappears. This is why Nvidia is worth more than most countries. That's not a metaphor. Check the GDP tables. AI doesn't make money from chatbots. It makes money by turning labor into electricity. Every company that adopts AI converts human costs into compute costs, and Nvidia sells the compute. Follow the money and you'll see who wins. The winners share 3 traits. First, data. If you have proprietary information AI can learn from, you have a moat. Everybody else trains on the same public internet. A bank with 20 years of transaction data, a healthcare company with millions of patient records, a manufacturer with sensor data from every machine. That's defensible. A startup training on publicly available datasets is not. Second, distribution. AI makes products better, but it doesn't create customers. If you already have attention, if you're already installed on the device, already have the user relationship, already own the workflow, AI compounds your advantage. Microsoft doesn't need to win the AI race. They just need to ship Copilot and let 400 million subscribers do the rest. Third, compute. Running AI at scale is expensive. Inference costs are falling, but they're not zero. The companies with chips or deep relationships with those who have chips have leverage. Everyone else is paying rent. Notice what's not on this list. Labor, offices, headcount, the things that used to mean that you were a real company. The old markers of size are becoming liabilities. The companies adding employees are often the ones that haven't figured out how to automate yet. The companies getting leaner and more profitable aren't struggling, they're adapting. The pressure falls hardest on the middle. Middle managers, analysts, coordinators, project managers, anyone whose job is primarily synthesis rather than judgment, anyone who spends their day moving information from one place to another, anyone whose value was being the bridge between systems that didn't talk to each other. AI is the bridge now, but it's broader than that. Entire industries built on billing for time face a fundamental repricing. Consulting, legal services, accounting, marketing agencies, architecture firms, any business model where you sold hours is now exposed. When research that took 40 hours now only takes 4 minutes, what exactly are you selling? When a junior associate's work product can be generated in seconds, what's the associate for? The ones who survive will be those selling judgment and relationships. The ones who won't are those who were really selling time disguised as expertise. Turns out that's most of them. The first jobs to go aren't blue collar, they're white collar. Customer support, junior consultants, back office teams, marketing coordinators, paralegals, junior designers, entry-level analysts. Anything that lives in spreadsheets, emails, and dashboards is on the clock. This isn't a prediction, it's happening. The layoffs you're seeing in tech, finance, and media aren't about recession. They're about restructuring. Companies are discovering that they can do the same work with fewer people. And once they discover that, they won't go back. Why would they? So what does this actually mean? We're moving from labor-driven companies to leverage-driven companies. The most valuable businesses of the next decade will be small teams controlling massive AI-powered systems. One founder, one engineer, one distribution channel. The output of a Fortune 500 company. That sounds like hype. It's not. Companies with 50 employees are already competing with companies with 5,000. Solo operators are building products that used to require teams. the economics of headcount have inverted. If you're building a company, the playbook has changed. Small teams with AI leverage will outcompete large teams with traditional structure. Not eventually, now. The question isn't how many people you can hire, it's how much output you can generate per person. Revenue per employee is becoming the metric that matters. If you're employed, your value isn't in what you know. Knowledge is now cheap. Your value is in what you can do that AI can't do yet. Judgment in ambiguous situations, relationships that require trust, physical presence where it matters, the ability to make decisions when the stakes are high and the data is incomplete. If you're investing, follow the leverage. The companies getting leaner and more profitable are showing you where the economy is going. The ones still hiring like it's 2019, also showing you something. The question isn't whether AI will take jobs. That framing misses the point. The question is whether you'll control AI or compete against it. Whether you'll be the one building the system or the one being replaced by it. That's the defining question of this decade. The economy is being rewritten, not in some distant future, right now. In earnings calls and org charts and layoff announcements and startup pitch decks. Most people won't notice it until it's done. I spent 25 years in financial services watching how these shifts actually play out. Now I build the systems that replace the work I used to manage. This channel exists to explain what's actually happening. The money flows, the power shifts, the systems being rebuilt. Who wins, who loses, and why. Not the hype, not the fear, just the mechanics. Welcome to the AI economy. This is AI Never Sleeps.